Did you know Kyoto banned foreigners because they kept harassing the geisha women or whatever? That's really unfortunate. I'm not entirely sure what geisha women even are. They're not just they're not courtesans, right? They're more like beauty. They're like beautiful attendants and like not what's the term? Like housemaidens slash entertainers slash beautician. Like they do like the performative element, but they're like associated with there's art to it. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like burlesque a little bit, right? Like it's a horny, but it's a little bit horny, I think. Like the geisha women definitely are known for being beautiful. Yeah, it's model entertain stay at home model entertainer women, kind of, you know. Yeah, I get that. That's cool. Oh, you didn't mean Kyoto, which is a place that I thought I hadn't heard of before. You meant Kyoto, the massive tourist district. Okay, no type. Okay, I don't know if Kyoto is a place or not. I'm just going along with it. It could be a place. I don't know every place in Japan. Kyoto, I know. So just get. All right. Gyeon residents ask city council to crack down after rising tourist numbers leads to increased harassment of traditional United. Yeah, that sucks. Man, I hate the tourism industry. Even towards wealthy countries, there are problems with it. It's still culturally the capital. Yeah, I hear that. I mean, I guess it'd be a battle between that and Tokyo. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have like a horse in that race, so to speak. Gyeon, where Gaiko and Maiko traditional entertainers can be spotted on their way to evening tea house appointments. Okay, wait. Pardon me for this. In the Wano arc of One Piece, is that one lady a geisha? The beautiful one who has the fan? Who had been waiting the downfall of the such and such, no spoileronies. Is that like a geisha? Yes? Okay, gotcha. She was cool as hell. I mean, she was a bitch at first, but whatever. Girl bosses? She is indeed a girl boss. Yeah. And refrain from touching the women's expensive kimono. I think that if you see a woman dressed like this in public and you reach out to touch her robes, somebody should procure a sword and cut your hand off. I have no idea what other... I have no idea what... Like, that seems like the only rational... Like that, I don't know what else you could do, really. That's insane. I hate tourists, dude. I'm gonna try to be on my best behavior when I'm in Spain. Were they raised by wolves? Yeah, I don't really know. Some people are so entitled. You know how they say like the Chinese are the worst tourists in the world? I wonder who's worse in Tokyo, like Chinese or America, because there's probably a bunch of both, right? Sadly, in Japan, we have sword control laws. Well, the reason Japan has sword control laws, there are two reasons, right? One of them is that guns are so uncommon in Japan that a guy with a sword is like an actual high-level threat. Like, in America, if you procure a sword, like there are 40 concealed carry dudes nearby who will just shoot you. But in Japan, you're actually like an unstoppable force until somebody else draws their sword. And secondly, the samurai were like a thing for a while, you know? Like a long while, which is really weird to think about, you know? You know how in Demon Slayer, you have the, like, turn of the century, there are trains and electricity, but there are still dudes with swords? That was, like, an actual thing, kind of, which is so weird to think about. Because the guns they got were imported, right? So, like, not everyone had a gun. It wasn't like the Wild West where everyone had a revolver or whatever, you know? So, that was still, like, a thing. It's just so weird to think about. The samurai outlived their role in society by probably a couple centuries. Keep in mind that there's still a British aristocracy, right? Like, this is something that Americans don't understand. In America, we don't have an aristocracy. We have wealth, but our wealthy people, take a look at Silicon Valley, our wealthy people act mostly like normal people, kind of. Like, they're not that culturally distinct, you know? If you take a look at what wealth in America looks like, they're basically just wealthier, normal people. But the wealthy in the UK, in England specifically, they have an actual aristocracy, like old money. They go to the same like private schools and the same districts and the same like clubs and everything, and they're like actual proper aristocrats. They don't have the level of like cultural mobility is much lower there, you know. It's very, very different. It's not just a wealth thing, you know. Yeah. Like all of the big British journalists, politicians, like wealth makers, whatever, kingpins, whatever you want to do, like business owners, the bourgeois, they're all part of the same, like, not just capital, they're not just part of the same economic circle, they're part of the same social circle, and that's the difference in America, right? Because all wealthy people in America are part of the same capital group, right? The same economic circle. But they're not all part of the same social circle, right? There are like East Coast, New York millionaires and like Texan oil baron types and like Appalachian and they're all very culturally different, even if they share the same economic interests. And being wealthy in England, becoming wealthy in England, doesn't make you a part of the aristocracy. Which ones do you think taste better? I cannot imagine that British people taste good. Yeah, that's probably true, Thana. There's a lot of like Chinese, Japanese mutual hatred, which, by the way, personally, I kind of think the Chinese have a right to be dicks while being tourists in Japan. Like, considering what the Japanese did and haven't apologized for, Shinzo Abe was literally like publicly joking about not disavowing the war crimes that they committed in Manchuria during World War II. Like, yeah, I don't know. Korean people too, yeah, for sure. Like, can you imagine like Jewish like tourists visiting Germany if Germany like never apologized and the current leader of the German government was like making jokes about Auschwitz, you know, like or he like the like a current German leader making like Arbach Mike frei Mike, I don't know how it's said, that thing, like it's literally that Arbeit Mike, is it Mach, not Mike, Arbeit Mach. I shouldn't be saying this. I don't know why I'm saying this. You pronounce all the words wrong. Maybe by pronouncing them wrong, I'm actually like ensuring, like I'm protecting myself from the clips, right? You know, because if I pronounced it like really weirdly well, that would be cause for concern. You know, Japan hates you if you own a car. It's great. In Tokyo, they don't even let you. My understanding is in many parts of Tokyo, I don't know if it's every district or prefecture or whatever, but in many parts of Tokyo, the government won't give you a license to own a car unless you can prove to the government that you have a parking spot. So unless you live in a house or an apartment block that has an that has a parking spot like allotted to you, you cannot get a car because they don't like cars taking up public space, you know? Because a lot of the streets of Tokyo, you know, look like this, and they don't want to have cars choking every square foot of their like public space as you walk around. You don't, when walking around Tokyo, you're not walking on a sidewalk that's bordered by a bunch of parked cars, you know? That's just not... I know I'm showing the touristy streets here, but again, I went to Tokyo, I walked around for a while, and seeing parked cars wasn't that common. The most cars that I saw, the most frequent times that I saw parked cars, where there would be, like, temporary loading bays in front of businesses, and sometimes there would be those little beep-beep pickup trucks that would be backed up, like, in the alley next to a business for unloading and loading and stuff. And it was awesome. It was great. It was amazing. Cars, like, barely got in the way of anything that I did. And why would you ever use a car in Tokyo? Why would you ever? Do you have any idea how robust their public transit is? It's insane. You wait 2 minutes, you know? Again, like, speaking to the honor of the Japanese people, if the train gets there more than 30 seconds late, the engineer for that train commits seppuku right there in front of you, and then a replacement, the next guy gets promoted and takes his place. He says he swears he won't do that, you know? And then it's insane. Can confirm as a resident of Nippon. Yeah, I know you could, because it's true.